look, it's our friend Klaus, Great Reset, Fourth Industrial Revolution, You'll Own Nothing and Be Happy, Eat the Bug Schwab, telling us how he and his buddies are going to restructure our world.
Of course, if we look at all the challenges, we can speak about a multi-crisis. An economic, a political, a social, an ecological, an institutional crisis. But actually, what we have to confront is a deep, systemic, and structural restructuring of our world. And this will take some time. And the world will look differently after we have gone through this transition process.
I don't think so, Klaus. Welcome back to the High Impact Flicks channel. I'm Brian. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. And do me a favor before we start the intro. Go to my Grease Monkey Videos channel and watch a couple of the last videos because I suspect there's some serious shadow banning going on over there. Probably part of the world restructuring. Roll the intro. Because the initiators of programs like Operation Popeye keep mucking around with the weather and blaming it on us little people, we're seeing a surge of life-threatening, unnatural disasters that probably won't be slowing anytime soon. Earthquakes, fires, tornadoes, and hurricanes are all increasing in power and frequency. And one of the most dangerous things during these times are power outages. So prepare for those times with the 3-in-1 Preppers Holiday Bundle. This exclusive limited time bundle has all the devices you need to possibly save your life in the event that the grid goes down. It includes the ultra bright light bug, which is a portable floodlight, the incredible 3-in-1 flashlight, and a mini lightweight portable flashlight. Grab this 3-in-1 bundle and try it for yourself for 30 days risk-free. If you don't like it, send it back. And this Black Friday, get almost 70% off. Just go to 3in1bundle.com or click the 3in1bundle.com link below and give the gift of preparation this holiday season. This is Yuval Noah Harari, and for those who don't know him, he is basically the spokesman for the World Destructive Forum, the World Economic Forum. That's Klaus, Great Reset, Fourth Industrial Revolution, You'll Own Nothing and Be Happy, Eat the Bugs, Schwab. This is his henchman. This is Yuval Harari, who's best friends with Russell Brand. Now, Russell Brand drops some crazy truth bombs, but that seems like a psychological operation to me because Russell Brand is good friends with this guy, and listen to what this guy says.
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over.
That's over. Your free will is over. Now, on some level, I kind of agree with him. Are we animals? No, we're human beings. Guys, there's a difference between the animal kingdom and the human kingdom. There's no morality in the animal kingdom. I mean, if the lion doesn't leave the pride, if the lion doesn't leave the pride, the head lion will devour him because he doesn't want him to be competition. You do that as a human being, that is absolutely immoral. Why? Because if you try to devour your child, you've done to others what you wouldn't want done to you. That's another thing that they want you to get away from is the golden rule. And the golden rule isn't true because it's in the Bible. It's not true because it's in some Hebrew or Greek manuscript somewhere. All you have to do is ask yourself, would I want somebody to harm me? If the answer is no, then you don't go out and harm other people. Would I want somebody to steal from me? If the answer is no, then you don't go out and steal from other people. If you do, you're a hypocrite. If you're a hypocrite, you're a garbage human being, and you don't want to be a garbage human being because the last thing you want to do is add to the landfill of life. Don't be a garbage human being. The golden rule is basically the thread line and the compass, the moral compass by which you operate on this plane, on this level. And that's why it's so important to discover the truth, because if you discover the truth, then you have a good chance of internalizing the truth. Now, there's a lot of people who will discover the truth and then they'll turn their face away from the truth. Finding the truth is only half the battle. You have to then internalize it, and that takes effort. Because in order to internalize it, a lot of times you have to deprogram yourself. And if you think you haven't been programmed, you're lying to yourself. If you think you haven't been propagandized by the social engineers, you are freaking lying to yourself. You have to whip the smelling salts of reality and realize, hey, I've been programmed. I've been indoctrinated. I am a product of the 15,000-hour public fool indoctrination program, just like probably a lot of you, unless you were homeschooled. And so that takes reprogramming. So when you find the truth, which is extremely difficult nowadays, you have to take hold of the truth, and you have to seek it as silver and search for it as for hidden treasure. If you're a wise man, you'll apprehend the truth, and then you'll feed on the truth. As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after truth. That's how desperate you need it. That's how desperate you should be when you encounter it. And then when you encounter it, it has to become a part of you. And then when truth becomes a part of you, you start living it and you start speaking it. And it doesn't matter if anybody's around, because behind closed doors, you're that same good person that you present yourself to be when you're out in public. There is no hypocrisy in you. Does that mean that there aren't some things that you're going to have to overcome in life? No, you got to constantly overcome it. You got to constantly be vigilant. The only way we can fall for these psychopaths who call themselves government and want to control you is if we let them demoralize and dehumanize us. That's the only way. If you maintain your sense of morality, if you maintain your sense of bearing and your moral compass, they can't deceive you. What was it? Samuel Adams said, "No people will tamely surrender their liberties, nor can any be easily subdued when knowledge is diffused and virtue is preserved. On the contrary, when people are universally ignorant and debauched in their manners, they will sink under their own weight without the aid of foreign invaders. You won't need any help to go to the landfill. You'll do it yourself if you demoralize yourself." And that's what you see every time you turn on the TV. Every time you click on CNN, which is the counterfeit news network, or ABC, which is always broadcasting crap, or faux news, every time you turn it on and you let them speak into your mind and you actually believe what they're saying, it dehumanizes you that much more. It demoralizes you that much more. So you have to set a course, and you have to be resolute about not veering from that course. And I don't mean resolute about not growing and not evolving as a human being and progressing in goodness. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about throw off everything. Hollywood, everything is geared to programming you to hate the truth. What is that? In times of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act. True. Truth is treason, and it will always be treason in the empire of lies. Always. It's just that way. Water will always repel oil. Fire will always be hot. Ice will always be cold. And truth seekers who apprehend and internalize the truth will always tell the truth and be sensitized to the fact that, hey, there's some evil stuff out here, and I got to call it out. And I got to make sure that it doesn't come near and contaminate me, because we, like it or not, we live in a world that wants to contaminate you on a deep, meaningful, spiritual level. That's what they want to do. And that's what voting is. That's what politics is. Politics is the clever and deceptive art of using euphemisms, lies, emotionalism, and fear-mongering in order to dupe average people into accepting and even demanding the chains of their own enslavement. Please oppress me. Please rob me for the common good. Please shake me down. And yet, if you did the same thing that agents of government did, you would be rightly viewed by society as a criminal. Why? Because robbing people is a criminal activity. Threatening people is criminal activity. Why is it criminal? Because you wouldn't want to be threatened. You wouldn't want to be robbed. Murdering is a criminal activity. Who is the Guinness Book of World Record all-time leader in murder, mass murder? It's the United States government. It's the people who run the United States government and the military industrial complex. Nobody, they're undisputed champions of mass murder, and yet they use a euphemism to cover up that reality. And what is that euphemism? War. We're going to war. That war is legalized mass murder. It's like gun control. It's not gun control. It's people control. You're not trying to control inanimate objects. You're trying to control people. So when you go into that courthouse or that state building or that federal building and they say, well, you got to disarm. What are they saying? Wait a second. I thought you, law enforcer in that federal or state office building, put your hand on a Bible and put your right hand toward heaven. And you said, I swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Oh, really? You do promise? Then why are you telling me to disarm before I can go into that courthouse? The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed is the Second Amendment in the Constitution that you swore to uphold, protect, and defend. And now you're violating your own oath. That tells me what kind of person you are. That's the kind of deception we're dealing with, because that cop really believes that he's going to keep that courtroom safe by making you violate your rights by leaving your gun locked up in your car. Or, oh, wait a second, you have a gun in your car? Oh, wow, we're in the state of New York. You shouldn't even have a gun. You got a permit for that? What is that? What is a permit? A permit's a permission slip. Let me ask you a question. Do free men ask any other man for permission to do something that he has a perfect right to do anyway because he's a human being? No, free men don't do that. Free men just live free. They're not asking for permission. Hey, government, can I go hunting? Yes, that'll be $35 a year. Here's your hunting permit. Hey, government, can I forage off the land and go, go fishing and go hunting? Here's your fishing permit. Here's your hunting permit. Here's your driver's license. Licensing, registration, permits, permission slips. That's all the fodder of servants and slaves and serfs and people who aren't free. And that's the way agents of government want it. So when we got Yuval Noah Harari saying that we're hackable animals, well, no, we're not animals, but we are hackable. He's right about that. There are psychological operators and social engineers working 24 hours a day. And I don't know if all this started with Edward Bernays, who's the nephew of Sigmund Freud, but he's basically the father of public relations, the father of PR, the father of illusion, the father of lies. What Harari is saying right here is humans are hackable. Yes, they are. We can interject thoughts into them. That's why corporations spend $5.5 million for a 30-second Super Bowl ad, because they know that if they get their product and their advertising, and the more humorous, the better, because that brings down barriers. And the barrier you want to bring down is the barrier of resistance to their products. So they got to tear that down through marketing, through advertising, through propaganda. They realize the power of propaganda. They realize that human beings are hackable. How many cans of Coke do you have to sell to recover your $5.5 million for your 30-second Super Bowl ad? How many pairs of Nike shoes do you have to sell to equal $5.5 million so you can break even? How many bags of Doritos do you have to sell to equal $5.5 million? And yet they do it. Why? Because they'll get it back and then some. All you got to do is suggest to people, these Doritos are salty and crunchy and delicious, and then throw a celebrity in there and the sheep come running. And that's what he's talking about. Human beings are hackable. Are we animals? No, I disagree with that. We are hackable. And on one level, he's right about free will being thrown out the window, because now when you're going to the store and you grab that bag of Doritos, did you grab it because you really, really wanted it? Or did you grab it? Did you grab it because you thought, hey, there's going to be some major nutritional value in that bag of Doritos, or in that can of battery acid, Coke? If you get, by the way, guys, if you're drinking Coke or Pepsi or any kind of soft drink or anything like that, you got to know that the pH is below 4. If you can pour that stuff on a battery post and get rid of the corrosion, can you imagine what that stuff is doing inside your body? So did you grab that Coke because you thought it was going to be a benefit to your health, or you really needed that Doritos, or did you really need that $230 pair of Nike shoes? Did you really need that? Or did you buy it? Did you reach out your hand to grab it and throw it into your cart because somebody programmed you? So in that sense, we are hackable, and we've got to be aware of that. We are programmable. We got to be aware of that. And we are losing our free will if somebody intensely desires to create a program so that they can control your mind and they can control what you think and what you watch and how long you're going to spend with your friends and what you're going to talk about. If you have a cell phone, you have a device, you have a spy device that they can track you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you carry it with you and you don't have a Faraday bag that you throw it into every once in a while. You know, a lot of people call me and they're like, man, I can't get a hold of you. They text me, can't get a hold of you. I hardly ever have this cell phone near me. It's usually off, or it's in the microwave, or it's in a Faraday bag or somewhere. But you got to like unplug. And then people invite these little gadgets in like Siri and what's the Amazon one? They're just spy devices. And then they'll put a Fitbit on their wrist that has an accelerometer in it. And they buy our biometric data online. This is what he's talking about, hackable animals. Oh, we're not just looking at what you look at. And then you got this front-facing camera right here. And so when you're looking at something on your cell phone, they're looking at what your eye movements are doing. And they've got facial recognition, and they know who you are. They've got biometric data. And they can, if you got a Fitbit on, or maybe they can even do it through the phone, they can find out if your heart rate's getting elevated when you looked at that ad or whatever. So I'm kind of convinced, I believe, I can't prove this, but I think the reason they give pornography away for free is because they want to track the people who are looking at the pornography so they can find out what their habits are, so they can get more data from you. If you're into that pornography stuff, it is destructive, guys. Pornography, the reason they're giving that stuff to you for free is because they know what it's going to do to you. It's going to dehumanize you. It's going to demoralize you. It's going to give you expectations that you're not going to have met in reality. It's going to create things that go on inside your body that they know that that's going to happen, so that you can be set up for the next program they have to plug in, the next algorithm, the next breadcrumb they want you to get. It's all a part of their plan. You can unplug it when you go after truth and you determine, I'm not going to be the kind of person they want me programmed to be. I'm going to be something different. And I guarantee you will encounter resistance. How many of you who are watching me right now, when you, I don't know, told your family and friends, hey, I don't really buy the official government story about what happened on 9/11. I just can't buy the story that a 47-story steel frame office structure came down neatly at 2.3 seconds of free fall speed, according to NIST, neatly into its own footprint at 5:20 p.m. And it was reported by BBC 20 minutes before it fell that it was going to fall. I just can't believe that collapse like that from office fires and diesel tanks on the 14th floor or whatever they were saying. If that's the case, then all these demolition experts need to stop going to school. They need to stop wiring these buildings with, all this technical gadgetry, and just start setting office furniture on fire and start dousing it with diesel. Guys, we already know that they want to decimate the dollar, destroy the economy, bring us into a cashless society, and eventually make it difficult for us to even get food. That's why I constantly promote My Patriot Supply. Every chance I get, I turn my fiat currency notes into long-term storable food. This stuff is awesome. It's got a 25-year shelf life. And one thing we're all going to need is storable food. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. With my link in the description, you get $100 off of every order instantly. It'd be a good idea to order it while you can, because I'm not sure how much longer they're going to be able to ship this out. My link for your $100 off discount is in the description below.